Pause 3S. The 2020 U.S. presidential election was one of the most contentious and consequential in modern history. Amid a global pandemic, economic uncertainty, and widespread social unrest, the American people faced a choice that would shape the future of the nation. On one side, the incumbent President Donald Trump, a figure polarizing and unpredictable. On the other, Joe Biden, a seasoned politician with decades of experience, and his running mate Kamala Harris, a trailblazer in her own right. The stage was set for a battle that would test the very fabric of American democracy. Pause 2S. But this story is more than just about politics. It's about the people, the narratives, and the truths that often get lost in the noise. In this series, we'll delve into the key players, the controversies, and the moments that defined an era. From the rise of Kamala Harris to the claims and counterclaims of Donald Trump. Join us as we unravel the complex tapestry of the 2020 election and its aftermath. Pause 2S. Now let's begin by getting to know one of the most influential figures of this historic election, Kamala Harris, a woman of many firsts. Kamala Harris, daughter of immigrants, Howard University graduate, former district attorney of San Francisco, first female attorney general of California, first Black and Asian American vice president of the United States. It's safe to say she's broken a glass ceiling or two in her time. Harris's heritage is a point of pride for many. Her father, Donald Harris, emigrated from Jamaica. Her mother, Shyamala Gopalan Harris, emigrated from India. This unique blend of cultures makes her a powerful symbol of America's diversity, but not everyone sees it that way. Enter Donald Trump, stage right, microphone in hand, ready to stir the pot. In a move that surprised absolutely no one, Donald Trump, the man who once questioned Barack Obama's birthplace for years, decided to cast doubt on Kamala Harris's racial identity. Because, why not? This is the same Donald Trump who has a history of making unfounded and controversial statements, often aimed at undermining his political opponents. His latest target, Kamala Harris, the first woman of South Asian and African American descent to be nominated for national office by a major party, is no exception.
Trump, in his infinite wisdom, implied that Harris was somehow being deceptive about her heritage. He suggested that there was something suspicious about her background, as if her identity was a matter of public debate. This is a tactic we've seen before, where Trump tries to create doubt and confusion about well-established facts. He questioned whether she was Indian or Black, as if those were the only two options, and as if it was any of his business in the first place. This line of questioning is not only irrelevant, but also shows a lack of understanding and respect for the complexity of racial and ethnic identities. It's a classic example of Trump's divisive rhetoric.
Let's be clear, Harris has always been open about her multiracial background. She has spoken extensively about her heritage, her upbringing, and how her diverse background has shaped her perspective and career. Her mother, Shyamala Gopalan, was an Indian immigrant, and her father, Donald Harris, is a Jamaican American. Harris has embraced both sides of her heritage and has been a vocal advocate for both communities. She is a proud Black woman and a proud Indian American. Her identity is not up for debate, and it certainly isn't something that can be questioned or invalidated by anyone, let alone Donald Trump. Harris's story is a testament to the rich tapestry of American diversity, and her achievements are a source of pride for many. Trump's attempts to sow discord are not only baseless but also deeply insulting. They reflect a broader pattern of behavior where he seeks to divide rather than unite, to question rather than understand. In these times, it's more important than ever to stand against such divisive tactics and to celebrate the diversity that makes our nation strong. Now, you might be thinking, John, this is just one off-color remark. Surely we're blowing this out of proportion. And to that I say, bless your heart.
This is not an isolated incident. This is Donald Trump we're talking about. This is a man who has built a political career on making inflammatory statements, often targeting minorities. Remember the Central Park Five, the birther conspiracy, his comments about Mexican immigrants, his Muslim travel ban. Need I go on?
Trump's history speaks for itself. Trump's attacks on Harris's race fit into a larger pattern of behavior. He has repeatedly questioned the legitimacy of minority politicians and public figures. It's almost as if he has a checklist. Woman, check. Person of color, check. Time to question their qualifications and patriotism. This behavior is dangerous. It undermines our democracy and erodes trust in our institutions. When someone in a position of power repeatedly makes baseless accusations, it normalizes this kind of rhetoric and makes it acceptable for others to do the same. And that, my friends, is a slippery slope we do not want to go down. Section 5. The White House claps back. The White House, for its part, was not having any of it. They swiftly condemned Trump's remarks, calling them disgusting and racist.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre stated, "The president believes that these attacks are xenophobic, they are racist, and they have no place in our society."
It's worth noting that this is the same White House that Trump himself once occupied. The irony, it burns. Section 6. America reacts, a nation divided. In recent times, the United States has found itself increasingly polarized, with every major event or statement becoming a flashpoint for heated debate and division. As is often the case with anything Trump says or does, his comments about Harris sparked a firestorm of controversy. The media landscape was immediately set ablaze, with newsrooms scrambling to cover the unfolding drama. Social media exploded, pundits pontificate, and the digital sphere became a battleground of opinions. Tweets, posts, and comments flooded in, each one adding fuel to the already raging fire. Late-night comedians raced to get the best jokes in, turning the controversy into fodder for their monologues. The nation's living rooms echoed with laughter, but also with the underlying tension of a country at odds with itself.
On one side, Trump's supporters defended his remarks, rallying behind their leader with fervor. They saw his comments as a breath of fresh air in a politically correct world. Claiming he was simply telling it like it is, they argued that his straightforwardness was a much-needed antidote to the perceived dishonesty of traditional politicians, or that his words were being taken out of context, twisted by the media to fit a particular narrative. In cafes and homes, debates raged on, each side convinced of their own truth.
On the other side, critics denounced his comments as racist and dangerous, a stark reminder of the deep-seated issues that continue to plague the nation. They saw his words as a deliberate attempt to divide and conquer, arguing that they were part of a larger pattern of behavior designed to sow discord and undermine faith in our institutions. These critics called for accountability and change. Political analysts dissected every word, every gesture in an attempt to understand the broader implications. America, where even our disagreements are exhausting. The nation stands at a crossroads, with each side digging in deeper, the path to unity seeming ever more elusive. In this climate of division, the question remains, can we find common ground, or are we destined to remain a nation divided? Section 7. The dangers of disinformation. Trump's comments about Harris's race are not just offensive, they're also dangerous because they contribute to the spread of misinformation. In our current media landscape, where misinformation spreads faster than wildfire on a windy day, it's more important than ever to be critical consumers of information. We cannot allow ourselves to be swayed by baseless accusations and conspiracy theories. We must demand evidence, think critically, and engage in civil discourse. Otherwise, we risk further dividing our nation and eroding the very fabric of our democracy.
Section 8. The erosion of trust. Trump's repeated attacks on the legitimacy of his opponents, particularly those from minority groups, have had a corrosive effect on public trust. When a former president, someone who swore an oath to uphold the Constitution, consistently engages in this type of behavior, it chips away at the very foundations of our democracy. It makes people question the integrity of our elections, the fairness of our justice system, and the very notion of truth itself. And that's a dangerous path to go down.
Section 9. Identity politics, a tool for division. Trump's comments about Harris's race are a prime example of how identity politics can be used as a tool for division. By highlighting racial differences, he aims to create a sense of otherness, making it easier to rally his base against perceived outsiders. By focusing on our differences rather than our shared values, politicians like Trump seek to pit us against one another, creating an environment of fear, distrust, and resentment. This strategy is not new. It has been used throughout history to maintain power and control by dividing the populace. This type of rhetoric is toxic. It infiltrates our communities, our workplaces, and even our homes, making it difficult to have open and honest discussions. The constant emphasis on what separates us, rather than what unites us, leads to a fractured society. It prevents us from having meaningful conversations about the issues that matter most, such as healthcare, education, and economic inequality. When we are divided, we are less likely to come together to find solutions to these pressing problems. And it makes it harder to find common ground and build a more just and equitable society. We need to focus on our shared goals and values, recognizing that our diversity can be a strength rather than a weakness. We must reject this divisive rhetoric. It is crucial to challenge and call out attempts to divide us based on race, gender, religion, or any other characteristic. By doing so, we can foster a more inclusive and understanding community, and instead embrace our shared humanity. By focusing on what we have in common, we can build bridges rather than walls, creating a society where everyone feels valued and respected. Together, we can overcome the forces that seek to divide us and work towards a brighter, more united future. Section 10. The future of American democracy. The stakes are high. The future of American democracy depends on our ability to engage in civil discourse, respect one another's differences, and find common ground. We must reject the politics of division and embrace the principles of unity, understanding, and compassion. We must hold our leaders accountable for their words and actions, and we must demand better from those who seek to represent us. The time for complacency is over. The time for action is now. Section 11. Conclusion. A call for unity and understanding. In the words of the great Maya Angelou, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Let us strive to make one another feel respected, valued, and heard. Let us build bridges of understanding instead of walls of division. Only then can we truly live up to the ideals of equality and justice for all. Please like and subscribe and let us know what you think in the comment below.